The streets of Moscow lay silent, filled with ash and ruin. Just weeks before, Napoleon Bonaparte, Emperor of France, had marched into the city as the master of Europe, leading the most powerful army the world had ever seen. Now, that same army stood broken, starving, and freezing. When Napoleon invaded Russia, he commanded more than 600,000 men, soldiers from every corner of his empire. He expected a swift victory, a triumphant conquest. But the Russians refused to fight a single decisive battle. They retreated deeper into their vast homeland, burning their own villages and crops as they went. By the time Napoleon reached Moscow, the city was deserted and on fire. There was no food, no shelter, no surrender. Winter was coming. As the first snow began to fall, Napoleon faced a choice: stay and starve, or retreat and die on the road. On October 19th, he gave the order the Grande Armée would march back to France. The retreat was a nightmare. The cold was merciless. Horses froze where they stood. Soldiers collapsed in the snow, too weak to move. The once proud columns of men turned into shadows, haunted, frostbitten, and hunted by Russian forces. Rivers choked with ice became graves. Cannon wheels shattered. Supplies vanished. Every step westward was a step deeper into despair. Of the 600,000 who had marched into Russia, barely 100,000 returned. The dream of empire had frozen to death on the road from Moscow. Napoleon, the man who had conquered Europe, now faced his first great defeat. And Europe would never be the same again. From the ashes of Moscow rose the beginning of his downfall, a reminder that even the greatest conquerors cannot command the winter, nor the will of a nation defending its land.